Stephen Aitchison, welcome to Circle of Friends. Thanks so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure being here, Amy. Thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Wonderful. Now, Stephen, you've written 4 books. You've got 5 guides. You're married to the woman of your dreams with 2 beautiful children. You live in your dream house. You're UK's -- personal development blogger, and you spend your days helping others. Woo! We love you. You don't have to say anything else. We love you. You've been a busy man, that's for sure. Now, the interesting thing about this list is that life has not always been like that for you. I was wondering, to start the interview, can you take us back? I suppose, is it about 20 years ago when you started on this personal development journey?
Well, what it was, Amy, I mean, I'd started when I was younger. I guess a lot of people feel this when they're younger as well. I didn't really feel I fitted in to the world. There wasn't really a place for me in the world, and I just always had these thoughts for a number of years that I really don't belong. The jacket of life, so to speak, didn't really fit me. So I wanted to kind of take that jacket off, and I wanted to just kind of end my own life. And it kind of culminated when I was about 20 years old, and I took some pills, a lot of pills, and just went to bed after I told my mum and dad that I loved them, and phoned my sisters up and told them that I loved them as well. And I went to bed that night and just kind of I attempted to take my own life with taking these pills. And the only reason I'm kind of here today is because I think it was around 5 o'clock in the morning. I must have fell out of bed. I was unconscious. I must have fell out of bed at some point, and my dad had heard the thump when I fell out of bed, and he kind of came up and kind of called the ambulance from there, and I was in the hospital for 3 days. But as soon as I kind of woke up, they offered me to see a psychiatrist, obviously, like you do. But I knew as soon as I woke up that I knew exactly what I needed to do, and it kind of, that moment kind of changed my life. Obviously, I wouldn't advocate trying to commit suicide as a way to kind of change your life, but for me, it was definitely a life-turning kind of event for me, and I really knew that I wanted to change my life, and I knew from that moment on how to do it and what to do about it.
So when you say you knew from that moment on, was it like the path to transformation, it was basically downloaded, it was like a gift, or it was just, okay, I need to start living differently?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it was a kind of a path that was downloaded, but I kind of knew what to do before I wanted to take my own life. I wasn't very good socially, and I had kind of these friends and stuff like that, or drinking buddies as I would call them now, but I'd kind of classed them as friends at the time, and I really didn't fit in socially, and I didn't kind of want to be in that crowd. But you know what it's like, you're going to get swept along, you still have a good time, but you just kind of don't fit in. And when I woke up, I just thought, right, I need to drop my friends, I need to drop my job, what I'm doing, because I don't enjoy it. Everything that I didn't enjoy in my life, I just thought, right, I'm going to drop it. It's no good for me, it's not making me happy. The only really real thing that was making me happy, which is a bit strange because I'd done this to my family, but was my family right about me, and that was the only true thing that was making me happy. So I dropped everything. I dropped my friends apart from one good friend, and just said, right, I'm going to start a new life, and it's a new path for me.
I'm not sure if you can answer this for the entire world, but I don't think that it's uncommon for someone to wake up when they're 20 years old and realize they've gone down the wrong road. They look at their job, they look at their friends, they look at their girlfriends, etc. How does it get to that point where you're just on a path that's really not your own? How does someone land there? Because I think that's a common place people wake up and find themselves.
Well, I think it's a matter of being swept along, Amy. I mean, when you're younger, you don't really think about things. You're not thinking too deeply about things, and you get into with some group of friends that you maybe got into with at school, and they may be kind of good friends, and then you start going out drinking, socialising, the world becomes a little bit bigger, and you kind of get swept along in that kind of world. Obviously there was, I'm not saying obviously, but there was drugs involved as well. Not too much, I wasn't hooked or anything, but I'd taken a lot of cannabis, there was acid, there was speed, there was kind of lots of stuff like that, and the drinking obviously as well, and you kind of go along with that. And your job, well, you just think it's a way to fund the weekends, basically, and that's basically what a job is. When you're younger, it's just a way to fund the weekends and have a good time. And then there comes a point where you just go, do you know what? Enough is enough. This is not for me. I need to go a different path. And it's hard to get to that stage, and it's hard to have the guts to actually admit to yourself. But I guess the big thing is asking yourself the question, am I really enjoying my life just now? If not, what parts am I enjoying? What parts am I not enjoying?
Beautiful. And so when you hit your rock bottom and you realized, you woke up and you realized you needed to change, do you have a set path that you took? Like, was it a mental construct that you followed, or was it just basically you dropped everything and had to rebuild? Do you get where I'm going with that question?
Yeah. There wasn't a set plan as such, Amy. There wasn't thinking, right, I know exactly what I want to do now. It was a matter of, I know kind of what I want to do. I want to be, and this happens a lot with people who are kind of have kind of depression and have some kind of mental illness like depression. They want to help other people. It's quite common for people to feel like that. They want to help other people because they've gone through that situation. So I kind of knew that I wanted to help other people, but when I woke up in the weeks after and the months after, I knew I was much stronger as a person. I never had any thoughts of suicide after that. I wasn't depressed like I had been a couple of years before. I just kind of knew I wanted to help people in some way. So what I'd done is I'd kind of moved to another town altogether across the other side of the country and started nursing. I was going to do mental health nursing. But again, that wasn't for me as well. I tried it. It was good. I enjoyed meeting everybody there. So I kind of went into other things as well. I'd done a psychology degree, which loved that. Really, really interesting. But that was just a way to prove to myself that I could do it, because I didn't really believe I could do it when I was younger. So that was another big turning point as well in my life.
And so from all of these life experiences, now you help people you've actually created online courses about transformation, about change. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's about change, because a lot of people find it difficult to change, because change is not easy unless you're asking yourself the right questions, unless you have the right thoughts about yourself, the right beliefs, the right emotions, and the perceptions you have about yourself as well. So it's really difficult to change, because it's really your life is kind of ingrained, or your beliefs and your thoughts are kind of ingrained over a period of years. So it's to kind of break that barrier down. So I created the course Mind Alchemy, and it's a series of kind of 20 modules looking at the 4 kind of pillars of change, or what I would call the 4 pillars of change, which is your beliefs, your perceptions, your thoughts, and your emotions, and kind of other things in between. And there's lots of exercises to do just to take you on that path of change.
It's a fantastic course. I was actually blessed with doing your pre-launch course, and definitely 2 thumbs up from me. I really enjoyed it, and I actually learned a lot about myself, which is to not sound like an egomaniac, but I was really surprised, because I thought I knew myself pretty well, but I was like, oh my goodness, there's some exercises in there that seem so simple on the surface, but when you do them, you go, whoa, didn't even know that. So thank you so much for that gift.
No, it was great having you on the course. It was really, really good having your input on the course as well.
Thank you. Now, something that I really loved, and this is actually part of the course, but I was wondering if you'd talk a little bit about the idea of asking the right questions, because that was a really huge lesson for me.
Yeah. They're asking the right questions. A lot of us ask questions of ourselves all the time. We do it all the time, but sometimes we don't even realise that we're asking ourselves maybe the wrong questions. For example, when you feel bad about yourself, somebody might think, why... I'm trying to think of a good example here. Somebody might think about themselves, why am I not good socially? So they're asking that question. So what automatically happens when you're asking that question to yourself is your brain starts to look for evidence as to why you're not good socially. And it'll provide all this evidence to say, okay, this is why you're not good socially, because you've asked me the question, I've provided you the evidence, which then turns into a belief about yourself. So that belief is kind of getting ingrained the more evidence that your brain is finding. Whereas if you ask yourself the question, how could it be better socially?
Yes.
Your brain goes in a different path altogether. It looks for different things to say, okay, this is how you could be better socially. So does that make sense, Amy?
Totally. It is a mind shift, and I love how you lead people through that, because that was a really big thing for me. And I love when you speak about beliefs, because I think when I look out at the world, I see so many people that are almost, it's like they're sleepwalking, and they've been handed these beliefs by loving parents. They're not, they're not malicious, and they put on those coats like you spoke of, and then maybe wake up at 40 with their midlife crises, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. We do get swept along, and a lot of people don't see beliefs as one of my passions. This is what I'm really passionate about, is beliefs. How beliefs are formed, how we grow up, and how we're given beliefs. Just exactly what you said there, Amy. Because literally we are given beliefs. They're handed down from our mums and dads, our brothers, sisters, parents, teachers, and those close to us. And we don't really realise, and we kind of take ownerships of the beliefs we have in our life. But they're not, if you really sit down, think about the beliefs that you have, they're not really your beliefs. They're not, they've been handed down. And this might sound a bit controversial, but religion is a big example of that. Nobody's born believing in a God. It's handed down from one generation to another, to another, to another. And this is a big thing for me as well, that your beliefs are handed down. So it's a matter of looking at your beliefs, or just saying to yourself, okay, what beliefs do I want to have about myself, and what beliefs do I want to have about the world? And then start literally installing new beliefs.
Beautiful. And it's so liberating when you actually get that concept. It's a freedom.
Exactly. I mean, imagine you've gone your whole life for 40 years or something, and you've been kind of swept along. You don't really know where you're going. You don't know what path you're taking. You've never really questioned your own beliefs, and then suddenly waking up and just say, "Geez, I can actually change my beliefs." Now, your beliefs can be changed simply by looking. And I've got a belief formula. I don't know if you want to hear that.
Go for it. I mean, I love it. So go for it.
The belief formula for me is perceptions plus evidence plus time equals a belief. That's how I believe. That's how I believe beliefs are formed. So you've got perception of yourself, and then your brain starts to look for evidence of that perception of yourself, and coupled with the amount of time, over a period of time, that then forms a belief. Now, if you can wake up at, say, 40 years old, or 20 years old, or 30, and just say, well, I can actually install new beliefs by using this formula, by saying to myself, okay, this is how I want to be, or this is how I want to feel about myself, or this is how I want to see the world. And then your brain starts to look for evidence as to how the world is formed for that new beliefs, and then over time that becomes a new belief for yourself. So you've literally installed a new belief. It might sound simplistic, but the most simple things are usually the best way to change.
Absolutely. And is that the formula for manifestation? You hear so much about the secret sort of stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, I think I've been thinking a lot about it. When The Secret came out, I thought, wow, this is fantastic, this is amazing. But when you actually watch The Secret, the video is a bit cheesy, but the underlying message is brilliant. It really is, I think. But I've watched the video, umpteen times now, and it is really cheesy, and it's kind of marketed very well. But the underlying message is your thoughts. I don't think your thoughts necessarily attract kind of what you want in your life, but you're more focused on what you want in life. So, for example, if you want to get a new job, you start thinking about getting a new job, then you start asking yourself, okay, what kind of job do I really want? And then when you've got that question down pat and you've got it answered, your brain starts to focus on, okay, how can I get that? And it starts to look for ways, and it starts to notice start to notice opportunities that you can get to get that job into your life. It's a bit like, I don't know if you've ever bought a brand new car, and say it's a Ford, and then suddenly, you've never noticed these Ford cars before, but suddenly you see them everywhere. They're all over the place. I mean, you can even recognise them with the lights, the back lights and everything. That's a bit what it's like. It's your brain tuning in to what you focus on, your thoughts. And I think that's a bit like how manifestation works. So it's not your thoughts literally attract, It's your brain focusing on the things it wants in its life, and it recognises the opportunities, and you seize those opportunities into your life.
Just for a second, can you touch on happiness? Because you work as an addiction counselor, and your life is really it's about transformation. It's about change. That's probably what you focus so much of your day on. So the reason people want to change, is it generally the underlying reason is they are unhappy?
I think people want to change for obviously lots of different reasons. Everybody's different, but a lot of people are chasing, or seem to be chasing, happiness, and we all do it. We all do it, but it's the way we're chasing happiness, because we're looking for external factors to make us happy, like the new house is going to make us happy, the big brand new car, the new job is going to make us happy. Excuse me, sorry about that.
Right.
So the new job is going to make us happy, or the new person in our life is going to make us happy. And when we get those things in our life, we just think, oh, that's okay, this is it. And then you start to look for something else externally to make you happy. Whereas I think we should be chasing contentment in our life. Instead of chasing happiness, a much better emotion to chase is contentment. And that comes from internally. So it's intrinsic. So if you look for the things that really make you happy, your family, the things you do in life, your passion in life will make you happy inside as well, and make you feel content, because the feeling of happiness is only a fleeting emotion. For example, I might be going on here, so just stop me if I'm
no, because I love this part. I mean, and this is also, I've read it either on your blog or in the course, and this is another aspect that really hit home to me about happiness, because I love it. So go for it.
Happiness is an emotion, like any other emotion. It's a fleeting emotion. So there's no way, it's impossible, literally impossible, for you to be happy 24 hours a day. Otherwise you just burn out, you just kind of internally implode, and you just kind of blow up. You couldn't do it, because your brain's releasing kind of serotonin, kind of chemicals like that in your brain to make you feel happy. So you can't chase that emotion all the time. It's impossible to feel happy. It's only a fleeting, passing moment. Whereas if you kind of look for contentment in your life, contentment's another emotion, but it's a much more calming, much more soothing, much more longer lasting emotion. And you could feel content 10, 12, 13, 14 hours in the day, whereas you can only feel happiness for, 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time. So if you look for contentment, your underlying happiness is you're going to feel much more content in your life, and you're going to feel happier about yourself and happier about the world round about you.
And in general, the way that society is moving, etc., everything's speeding up. Do you look out and see that we are becoming a more content nation?
I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say that. And I think we're becoming a bit of a manic nation, to be honest. I mean, the amount of information we're digesting every single day is unbelievable, and that obviously has an effect on our brains, on our brain chemistry. So we've become a bit more manic, I'd say. So the contentment is not really there unless you're conscious of it and you're doing something about it, like meditation, yoga, relaxation, things like that can all help for the underlying contentment in your life.
Beautiful. Now your course touches on all these aspects. So for the listeners, how do they join your course? What's the procedure?
Okay, what I'm going to be doing, Amy, is I'm going to be releasing the course. Hopefully, there's a few technical issues just now, which has lasted 3 or 4 days, but hopefully I'm going to be releasing a couple of videos on the 25th of April. And they can go to www.cytguides.com/mind alchemy. And what I'll do, I'm just thinking how to get this out there. Yeah, if they go to that, the kind of website first of all, cytguides.com/mind alchemy, it'll come up with a video, and the first video is looking at beliefs. Funny enough, what we've just been talking about just now.
It wasn't even set up by us, was it? We didn't even plan that as a marketing thing. It just happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So the first video is going to be really different because I've tried to look at kind of what everybody else is doing in the personal development space. So I've got a video that I'm trying out just now. It's either going to be really, really cheesy, or it's going to really be good and everybody's going to share the video. It's got a cartoon character guy in it as well, and I'm interacting with the cartoon character and teaching him about kind of beliefs and stuff like that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to be shared quite a lot and a lot of people are going to get to know about mind alchemy. Otherwise, it's just you and me that kind of know about it.
Well, I love it. You've got a fan, Stephen.
Brilliant.
So now, just quickly, because you've mentioned that, how has it been for you, this is aside, living out loud, putting your thoughts out there? You're UK's #1 personal development blogger, right? So you're talking about still when you're launching products, you still have that moment of, oh my goodness, how's this going to be accepted or received? Has that been quite a process? Like you mentioned before that you know, socially you didn't quite fit in, and now you're just in the spotlight. How's the process of living out loud? How has that been for you?
It's been a long kind of process. When I first started the blog and writing, I just thought, right, I want to use what I've kind of learned in life and use the psychology degree and everything that I was really passionate about, with helping as well. And putting it out there, it's like putting yourself on show. So I'd say I'm comfortably unsocial in the world. That's how I describe myself. So I'm comfortable with my being kind of antisocial, so to speak. I like being the way I am just now. I'm comfortable with it. But when you put your stuff out there, it's still, I don't know if this is going to be accepted. But then you just say, well, if it's not, you just move on to the next project. You do care about it because it's still a passion, but you don't kind of, you really don't blow yourself up in your mind about it and just get really het up about it. You just kind of move on and just focus on the positive aspects. Like yourself doing this interview, this is really positive, obviously, and it's good feedback to me just to say, well, somebody's listening, somebody likes kind of what I'm doing out there. So if one person likes it, changes one person, it really is worth it. And again, that sounds really cheesy, but it's true.
Absolutely. And what's been your biggest inspiration on this journey? The
biggest inspiration, it would be looking at other people and how they've lived their lives, and particularly people like, I don't know if you've heard of a guy called Nick Vujicic.
I have.
He's
one of my favourites.
Quadriplegic. Have you seen him? Yeah.
Love him.
Oh, he's just absolutely amazing. When you see people like that, and they just go, do you know what? I'm just going to get on with my life. I've not got everything. I've not got my faculties about it. I've not got my arms, my legs, or whatever. But I'm just going to get on with it, and I'm going to love life. I'm going to do it to the max. And when you see people like that, you just go, oh my God, and I'm worrying about kind of putting a book out there or something. So, sorry about that, Amy. So when you see people like that, they really are an inspiration in life, and just the kind of personal development kind of people like that, the true ones that have gone through life and have had a tough life, and they've actually come through the other end, and now they're teaching other people. They really, really inspire me.
I agree. And your final words of wisdom today, Stephen?
Final words of wisdom. Thanks for putting me on the spot.
I love doing it.
No,
I love the uncomfortable silence.
Thank you. Right. Final words of wisdom I would say is, if you really do want to change in your life, the first thing you've got to really do is question what you want in your life. We can't get anywhere unless we know where we're going. It's like jumping in a taxi and just saying to the taxi driver, just take me anywhere. You have to know where you want to go first. So if you can answer that question, then your brain goes on a totally different path. Once you've answered that, it's the belief, looking at yourself and having the belief that you can change and you will change. Anybody can change their life and turn it around if they want to. And it's just a matter of looking inside yourself, not putting yourself up against other people and comparing yourself to them, but looking inside yourself, find out where your strengths are, use those strengths, and make that as a way to help you change in life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time today, and for everything you share. Your new website looks fantastic, and there's great blog posts, etc. on there. So it's such a pleasure to work with you and to study under you. So thank you, Stephen.
Oh, thanks very much, Eamon. I have to say what you're doing with the Circle of Friends thing as well. I think that's really inspiring as well. It's brilliant what you're doing out there.
Thanks so much, Stephen. All the very best. Many blessings. Much love to you.
Right, take care. Bye now.
Ciao, ciao.